with the sudden and I mean, it's hard to find words really on it, but with the sudden passing of Kobe, everyone's GOAT. We're here to talk about it a little bit. I mean, pretty much remember him for all the positives. I mean,
Everything.
yeah, literally everything. I mean, I feel like to me everything has been positive. When I think about Kobe, when I think about his life and how he carried himself, everything has been it's all very positive stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna get right into this. What are you guys' favorite on-court memory of Kobe? Start out with you, Juan.
Favorite? So you just gotta pick one.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's the hardest thing to pick one, but I mean, shoot, if you got two, go ahead. Three.
Well, I'll just pick my favorite one. Is when he threw the oop to Shaq. 'Cause that was the first Laker game I saw that I remember. That was the whole reason I got into the thing.
Because that oop against the Blazers.
That was the start. And that was
that was first from the memory.
Right.
That was like the main he was the main comeback, and then him and Shaq closed it off.
Yeah. It's crazy. Any more? Or I mean, do you want to share any more? Do you want to leave it at that?
Favorite game winner is that Suns game when he hit it when they took the lead 3-1.
Yeah. Game 4, 06.
Mm-hmm. That's why I got those shoes.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite moments as well. What about you, Trey?
I mean we've answered this question quite a lot this week. I feel like. So I think I've actually had time to think about it for the sake of our show.
Right.
Because when people ask you this question, it's just like whatever. Like you just try to tell them what comes to mind first. And I guess on the court, the more that I got to think about it was probably, if I had to pick one, it's probably the Achilles. I think when he tore his Achilles and he came back on to shoot the free throws, because I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Well, somebody get up and walk?
Yeah, on a torn Achilles. I don't think I've ever seen nothing like that. So I think that kind of symbolized what his career is, really. And yeah, I mean,
what he is
tough as nails. I don't think you'll. I mean, maybe you will, but I don't think you'll find a tougher player. You know what I mean?
Right.
We can run through all of them all day, but that moment, I mean, I've already Kobe's a bad motherfucker, but it's like at that moment it was like he's as tough as they come.
Right.
That was pretty much the best example of Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
He had.
I didn't think that was possible until I seen something like that.
Right.
To be real honest with you.
Yeah, it's just like whatever it takes. No matter what the obstacle is that's in front of you, it's about finding a way to overcome it.
Yeah, and then like I told you, if I had one more, I know one didn't share another one, but if I had one more, it was I think as much as I thought about it was the air balls in Utah.
Yeah,
I think that was like something that a lot of people won't see. I mean, we all remember it, obviously, of course, right? 'Cause it's the beginning, but the trial and error behind that, and watching a couple interviews where he said it was on, it was just short every time, and
so he went to the weight room.
Yeah. He went to the weight room afterwards.
Pretty much set his career.
Yeah, I think it's a good example of trial and error in the toughest moment.
And then no moment was too big for him.
Right afterwards.
Right, and a lot of people, I've always throughout his career, a lot of people have mentioned how many game-winning shots he's taken, or how many last-second shots that he's taken, and they are quick to point out the misses.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he was not scared to take those shots in the first place, and he was not scared to miss, knowing that it's not obviously on a shot. It's for his career. What did he average on shooting? Like 44-45%. So that just shows it's not even a 50% chance that he's gonna actually hit that shot necessarily if you go off that. But the fact that he was so fearless in any given moment, no matter what, like I said, no matter what obstacle was in front of him, he faced that challenge full-fledged and he attacked it like a bull.
Yeah, and I think just him showing that he wasn't scared also helped his teammates out. That they never were like worried about, oh no, we're out of it.
Right.
With him, they always felt like there was always a chance.
Definitely.
And I think it helped them raise their play too.
Right.
And you can't say that with every player.
Exactly. And for us to be sitting, growing up and watching him be this guy, be who he is. Like, I'm going to say it again, be who he is, that is why so many people are currently impacted by this, just because we felt the energy from the TV. People, I mean, you hear ESPN reporters, you hear players, coaches, etc. talking about when you enter the room with him, you feel the energy, you feel how different it is. You feel it watching him through a screen.
Yeah.
Whether it's your phone screen, computer screen, TV screen, Jumbotron screen, whatever it is, you see that jersey, whether it's 8 on it, 24, you see Bryant on it, you see Los Angeles on it, you or Lakers on it, you just know, the first thing that you think of is his tenacity, how intense that, he approached every single thing, even after his career. He's came out with multiple books. He's won an Oscar, things like that. You know what I mean?
Films.
Exactly. And let me just share my favorite encore moment. It is that buzzer beater against the Suns in 06. But it's more so what came after it, as far as the celebration, the passion, like you like I'm probably gonna repeat myself 1,000 times. You felt that, you really felt that passion, and for me, that was the motivation that I needed, or I didn't know I needed it, but that was the motivation that brought me to where I am today, with my love and my passion for the sport of basketball. So, yeah, that's my favorite encore moment. Now let's go off the court moment.
I'll say for me, two things that are way more recent that stand out to me about him is I think I was the first one to send in the group message because I was like, what the hell is going on here, when he was out directing traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I
that was
like
actually just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, right?
Like a month ago. It was not long ago
for him
at all.
to be out there, it's just my mind right now because I feel like it's so much longer. For him to be out there doing something like that, he's an NBA legend.
Right.
And
he just got out of his car in traffic.
Comforting those people.
And if I had one more out of that, it's definitely when he and Gigi were on the bench.
Yeah.
And he was just giving her an earful about the game and what it is. You know what I'm saying? And she was taking it all in. I need got words, bro.
Yeah.
Keep it so hot with you. I don't have words for that.
My favorite on the court moment is just seeing him be a dad.
Yeah.
Because you could see all the joy in his eyes and all that. You could see he really loved being a dad.
Right. And that was a different vibe from seeing him on the court and stuff like that. So that's crazy.
mean, we all grew up knowing how much he loved basketball and how obsessed he was with it, but you could just tell that it didn't match the love of what he had for his kids.
Yeah, which is almost unimaginable. It's almost unfathomable to think about. For someone to love the sport of basketball so much and give their all.
And it's not even the thing they love the most.
Right.
That's why I was happy, because I remember when he first retired, he said he didn't want to coach.
Right.
And I remember he said
he was done pretty much.
And he said he was when he started watching Gigi play, he would just sit on the bench and just let the coach, and then after a while he couldn't help himself.
Right.
And I think eventually when Gigi told her, like, I really want to do this, I think that's when he was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of helped him be like, oh, I can live through basketball through her now.
Right.
So now he could see it from somebody else.
Exactly, and see his level of passion and drive through somebody else, which is it's like looking in the mirror. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When it came to those two, my favorite off the court moment was his Oscar that he won. Well, it was more so the poem that came at the end of his career, Dear Basketball, that eventually won that Oscar. I mean, and to me, it won that Oscar deservingly so.
Yeah.
But the reason why I like that moment is it's all for me. It's always about how I connect to things. With a lot of the way I think about everything is I think about how I connect and whatnot. And for me, being a writer, and loving writing just as much as I love basketball, to see my idol go from playing basketball and then writing, like,
It's a six ring.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing to me, man, because like it's like I said, everything I think about is connection. So it's like if I connect to this man about one thing, there's no way I can connect to him about another thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And boom, next thing you know, I find out this man loves writing just as much as I do.
Mm-hmm.
He loves creating just as much as I do. So, So I'm definitely gonna miss, looking forward to the books that he would create and come out with, all the Wizard books and
What's yet to come, right?
Yeah, everything that was yet to come. He had more Oscars to win.
Still coming. Still books coming.
I think I just answered the next question for myself. What type of influence did he have on you guys?
Did I say more, man? You watch me play basketball?
Yeah. We were just talking about this. Talking king shit all the time, man, nonstop.
I don't know, man. I think
his influence pretty much built what I am because of all my love for sports.
Yeah.
Just in general, it all started with him.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm from Chicago, as everybody knows, but my first actual memory, and then we talk about on the court stuff, but my first actual memory of you're watching basketball specifically. I can tell you, I remember getting in front of the screen and watching Mike and them going their last ship. But it's very vivid. It's not to the point of I remember him playing with Shaq and playing against Allen Iverson in 2001. It's not the same because I remember that specifically. Right. I remember getting in front of the TV with my uncle. So, everybody wanted to be like Kobe. So, I don't know, man. For me, like I said, you know what I'm about when I get on the court. I'm pulling that thing and I'm shooting. I don't care what nobody got to say, really. So, and that's the start of that. It's not Steph Curry for me. And I think that's why we take a lot of this hard, because as fun as it is to watch Steph Curry's, KD's, it's very fun. But that was that's the last of the dying breed. So for me, it's just because shooting the basketball, the basketball, dog. I don't know.
Yeah, and then all the obviously shooting anything, anywhere, yelling Kobe. That was our childhood. A lot of people's childhoods.
I think this passion shows the influence he just had pretty much on everybody.
Right.
Because there was people that pretty much grew up hating him, never had anything good to say, that took it as almost as hard as just an actual regular Kobe fan.
Yeah.
You ain't have to love the Lakers, but you gonna respect Kobe Bryant.
Oh, definitely.
And that's the fact.
And you're gonna fear him
bro.
too when he touches that court.
I think one thing that goes into this that's so big is that when we were kids, he was a kid, basically, in the league.
He pretty much grew up in front of us.
And I feel like we grew up with him. Because when we talk about everything that we're bringing up today as adults, that's things that I didn't see then because I was too blinded because I was a kid. It started with I just want to be Kobe. I just want to shoot as good as Kobe. I just want to do everything as good as Kobe. And now ultimately we talk about the passion for the game, et cetera, when we get a fair understanding of it, as to what it is. So
yeah,
I think it's just growing up with the guy, man. It's fucking insane.
It definitely is, man. And I joke around with people all the time. And I'm gonna do this forever. I don't care. But the whole joke of for me, if anyone that knows me, I never grew up with a dad and stuff like that. But I would jokingly say Kobe's my dad all the time. That's Pops. You know what I mean? That's always Pops. Just because I felt like, just as you said, we grew up with him, and for me, I feel like he was a huge factor in how I grew up and how I was raised. So, huge influence throughout my entire life and how I carry myself, all the way in, through and out. And it's crazy because we didn't even like know him personally on that level, but exactly, it felt like it. And we're not the only ones to know that there's millions and millions more people feeling the way that we feel and feeling, like the same way as far as like how we all grew up with Kobe, without actually knowing him. It's just
that's just the reach he had on everybody,
right? And
it doesn't matter. It's people that look like me, people that look like you. It doesn't matter. It's all walks of life.
Right.
Had
from everywhere.
Felt the same impact from him.
The man is like I tell people this, in the Philippines, he's probably next to Pacquiao as far as popularity goes.
In
China,
he's probably the biggest thing
next to Yao.
I think he's probably bigger than Yao. I'm just gonna be honest.
He might be.
Yeah, I think he's bigger than Yao. I think he's bigger than any Spain player. It's
definitely. Now one more question. This is more so about what's current, rather than like a memory of Kobe. But with all the tributes that have been going on, which have any like stood out to you? Are there any that you want to discuss?
I mean, just speaking from the rivalry, I think the Celtic one was pretty nice.
Oh
yeah.
Wait, I think I missed that one.
Yeah, they had 24 seconds of silence.
Oh,
and
okay.
And then while each second was like a different picture of Kobe.
Got you. Okay.
Had him talking about Boston and all that.
Yeah, I definitely missed that one.
Yeah.
Because I think I was scrolling through my time. Well, for the time that I was on social media this week.
That was immediate.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones.
I think that's like right
okay.
away.
So that's why I didn't see it, because I was not on the. I was not on.
Was it? It wasn't the game on Sunday, was it?
No.
No, I believe they played Monday or Tuesday.
It was at their house.
Yeah, they were at home.
Yeah. But yeah, I missed that because I wasn't on social media on purpose. I didn't want to keep seeing everything about it, you know what I mean, and reminding myself. And still to this moment, and I don't know when I will be able to, but I'm still in disbelief. I wake up every day and I look at my arm and look at my Kobe tat, and I don't believe it.
Yeah.
And I just think about it like, is this really real? And then I go on social media,
right,
or the news or something like that, and I'm reminded about it again, and it's been real tough. You feel me? But what about you, Trey, on the tributes?
I thought tonight was really beautiful for what they did for him.
Yeah.
In Staples, obviously that's the freshest one, right?
Yeah.
I think the kids all over the world that are taking 24-second shot clocks, that do have shot clocks.
Yeah,
I think
it's literally everybody. It's even high school.
Yeah, you
kids,
can't really limit it because it's all of basketball. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I think it's everything. This is really hard to talk about.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is, man. I went to the gym like for a couple days throughout this week, and I've seen so many. First of all, at the 24-hour fitness on Mount Vista and Trop, there'd be nobody there. Nobody be going there. You know what I mean? But there's people there all week, and that right there kind of shows, this right, like his impact on people in basketball. A lot of people hung up their shoes, you know what I mean, when after high school, after college, etc. Because we all got lives to live, but a lot of those people that hung up their shoes, they picked them right back up this week, and they picked that ball back up, and I'm sure a lot of people are rediscovering their passion for basketball this week, and it's so beautiful, you know what I mean, to watch. It's very bittersweet at the same time.
With you, man. Like, if you ain't really like, you know, right when we found out, I think it took me like 40 minutes to come off my bed, but talking about this like work week, I pretty much woke up every day just trying to think like, you know, you know what I'm saying, that push, and that passion type of deal. I just don't think it's just work. I think it's a life thing.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely, man. And
I think as older we got, we kind of learned more about his lessons that he tried to teach.
Right. Of course. That's usually how it goes, man. Like, it's like when you go back and you watch an old episode of some cartoon that you used to watch as a kid, and you're like, really?
Yeah, it's like crazy.
They was teaching me to not mess with that girl before. Before I even knew that I was gonna mess with some girl like that, you know what I mean, or something of that nature, you know what I mean. So there's so many life lessons that we, you know, growing up, we don't even realize what it's gonna do for us when we're older. And I mean, here we are, you know. So, but just to finish what I was saying about everyone going to the gym and whatnot, everybody had Kobe on their shoes. Yeah, they were wearing Kobe's, and they all got the markers out, R.I.P. Kobe, or, you know, something to, like, some type of Kobe quote, you know what I mean? And I feel like that, like, the tribute from all these random people has just been outstanding.
Yeah.
I
will say that All-Star, thankfully they did that on the All-Star. I thought they weren't, but
the jersey thing?
They didn't mess it up.
Jersey number.
Yeah. Yes.
And it was cool that they did Gigi.
Right.
Everybody was expecting 8 and 24.
Yeah.
It was dope that they decided to honor her with 2.
Right. I was looking forward to actually all 3 numbers, 8, 24, and 2. Mm-hmm. If you read my article on hoovenet.com, you can refer to that. You guys have anything else you guys want to say?
R.I.P. Kobe, man. I think that I cannot stress it enough. I just think it's bigger than basketball. And then you get to thinking about everybody, and rest in peace to everybody that was on that helicopter.
Yeah, it's all 9 lives.
I think that gone too soon is an understatement, and I think that's why it's hard to let go.
Right. It's gone too soon and too sudden.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, but
yeah, just weren't expecting it, just out the blue.
Right. But we can definitely it's the impact that this is going to have on everybody moving forward into the future is going to be tremendous. I already am noticing things from so many people around the world, sure. And you know, from here it's just a matter of staying consistent and keeping it going.
Not
rather
waiting
than
for the next death.
Exactly. Don't you know, move on a month from now and say, you know, kind of
just go back to me.
Right. Like, we all have lives and whatnot. We all get sidetracked, and we all, you know, tend to forget about things and whatnot. But this is something that we just got to carry forever. Carry that Mamba mentality forever. And if you guys want to know any more about, I mean, I wrote a letter to Kobe. That's also on hoofanatic.com, and it's pinned on our Twitter, hoofanatic at hoofanaticpod. So make sure you go read that if you want to know anything else that I had to say. Honestly, I didn't know I had more to say after I wrote that letter, and I wrote it on Sunday night, and I didn't have it in me to read it again until a couple days ago, and yeah, it's definitely
your best piece.
Yeah, there's nothing better than when you put your heart into something, and that's all we got from Kobe his entire life.